Hey Jim, hey James.
Good morning, folks.
Yeah, I saw that interview yesterday with you and your wife, Jim.
Oh, I didn't get a chance I made a comment on it just to try to drive a little traffic, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. But my wife was starting to watch it this morning. She goes, "Man, do you ever shut up?" I said, "Not unless somebody stops me."
All good.
All right. So well, I should wait a few minutes here. I'll just wait a few minutes. We'll just have a little bit of a family discussion here in the meantime. Ian, you are going to be so distracting for me. I might have to kick you off the platform.
And I'm sorry. I don't know what I can do about that.
You look so much like my nephew that every time, if I start calling you Kyle, you're going to know why. And it's almost, there's really no one else in my family that is in my line of work, so to speak. And I have tried desperately to get my kids interested and my nephews interested, but no one seems to be interested but me. And so every time I look at you, I'm like, oh, Kyle's finally here. All right.
But that's why you're doing it, so they don't have to be involved, right? Just leave that legacy well.
Yeah, well, I have you guys, there's a genre of movies out there in that I almost feel like the guys that do the Bank on Yourself wrote all of these movies. They're all using that playbook, Disney playbook um, that uses this generational wealth piece, and it has the trust. It makes them jump through all these hoops to make sure they're deserving of the trust, to make sure that they're going to, continue on in the right spirit of the trust. And so I'm very much interested in trying to figure that out. I don't want to think that it's as simple as a movie, but definitely interested in trying to figure that out for my kids, because I don't want them to.
Well, that I didn't realize Disney's model was like that, but I really like the Rothschild model, which is basically you leave the most competent person in charge, no matter, you know, whoever's in charge doesn't just go from one, father to son type thing. It's anyone in the family can be eligible. It's whoever is the smartest, and then I assume the rest of the family gets a payout or something. But head of that board is, the most competent person.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, that's a piece that I need to figure out sooner rather than later. But I definitely have too many other things on the plate right now to deal with that. So I'm going to start off, guys, since it's 4 minutes, so I'm sure we'll have other people join. But I just want to apologize that I don't have an agenda for today, and also to say that I'm going to need to let go of some of these things. Vinky started this capital raise meeting and wanted to really kind of take control and be the face of that in the early pieces. But when we changed it from Friday, I don't know if this is just not a time that she can make or do, but definitely needs somebody else that would be interested in driving this channel. And if somebody doesn't step forward, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm definitely not the most qualified to do it. And definitely you can see from the lack of an agenda today, time constraints are always going to be an issue for me. I'm trying to find more ways to get to claw back some of that time to dedicate it to other pieces of the platform, but always be here as much as I can. But okay. So with that said, with those apologies out of the way, I have. Does anyone have something particular they would like to discuss today? Is there an agenda or something that you're working on right now on your platform or on your avatar, or anything else that we could spend some good quality time that's really about raising capital.
I'd love to get, if we have time, it's not that important, but if you guys want, I'd love to get insights on my website. I'm pretty much more or less done with it now. I think I'm just working on like links and stuff like that. So, and proofreading.
Yeah, so that's if anyone is still building theirs, and if they want to kind of do a quick screen share and walk through a couple of pieces of it and get like immediate feedback, I'm perfectly okay with that if that's beneficial to anyone else. I know it would be, I think that would be beneficial for you, Hamad, if I'm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm editing. If I've had some great feedback. I actually already changed a few things from, a few of the people I've reached out to help me just take a look at it, because I've done it from my perspective and what I thought people wanted and looking for. But I would love to get some more eyes on it, more insights. Maybe I missed something.
Okay, so I know, Jim, how long has your site been active? You're on mute, Jim.
Yes, it's been up for a bit, probably about a year, going on a year now.
Okay.
I started it last, when I first started with my furlough from last year's pandemic. So it's been about a year, and I'm constantly updating it. It's a Squarespace site. I mean, it's simple, but it gets it done.
So I'm more interested not in the back end nuts and bolts IT problems, which we're experiencing now with the GOB site on something very which we have to solve, but that's a different topic. I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in the idea of a landing page, the idea of the what you're using for your lead magnet, for your call to action, and how that's working. Is your call to action, are you how many people are you generating a week? How many were you?
Actually, funny. I'm glad you asked that, because this week I actually got two potential investors who responded, and I forwarded them my Calendly link to set up a an introductory call and to go over their investor needs. So it's been slow, but I've started to get a few this past week, so I'm hoping that they will follow up and book time with Bob and I. So it is starting to come to fruition.
So what do you use for a call to action, Jim?
I just go through, if you go through my site, it gives the pluses of investing passively, and then it gives you an opportunity to reach out to us, to contact us. Have a little form that says, if you're a credit investor, how much would you want to invest? It gives the choices, and just
you want to share it, James, everyone can see it.
Yeah, sure, don't mind.
Hold on a second, guys. I need to enable screen sharing. I forgot to. And also, I think that's worthy of a discussion. If your site is primarily an educational site, where you're just informing as much as you can, and then you have, say, a contact me or a join us type of button, and that's really the only call to action, is if my content is good enough and you want to keep looking at it, would you be interested in being, quote unquote, in our investor database or in our investor club, or really only those two call to actions. So one is a little more proactive than just contact us. But do you guys, is there anyone that's using just that and that idea? And do you think, what are the benefits of doing it that way, or the drawbacks of doing it that way? Who's instead using, here's an ebook, call to action, download a free ebook, or here, download this or download that, and some kind of giveaway as a call to action?
So I focus purely on the education / giving stuff away for free. if someone's coming to your website to take a look at what's going on, they want to learn about you. They don't necessarily want to talk to you, right? From all the research and stuff I've done, it's more don't try selling them and try adding value to them. So that's what for me it's been all about. Mind you, I have like links everywhere for the ebooks and stuff like that. I think when we go over my website, I can go in more detail with what I have. The only thing on my website at the top before I had a newsletter, and someone told me just get rid of that newsletter. They'll automatically get into your newsletter anyways, and instead do like invest with us type thing. But that's about the only place I have the join us or invest with us is just at the top right hand corner. If they want to click on it, you can click on it. Everything else is I've tried to make it content as much as possible in messaging. Even like the about me section, I've tried to gear it more how are we adding value to them rather than we do.
So a couple things on that. If you guys haven't read this book yet, you need to read this. Building a Story Brand. Yeah, highly recommended. Donald Miller. So critical book to read. Yeah.
And I'm coming from the consumer goods world. I was in finance, but I worked very closely with marketing as well. And it's just, first thing is being top of mind with the consumer. That's the biggest thing. And then, how do you add value to them, and what are you providing to them that they would want to come with you? And branding is key. I think, no matter which business you're in, you have to focus on the brand and the messaging.
Yeah. But the other thing, it's called Building a Story Brand.
Who was the author again, Michael?
Donald Miller.
Okay.
Yeah. And so another big thing in there is like not only, building your brand, like Hamad's saying, but you also have to guide your customer. You can't just assume that they're going to come to your website and they're going to dig around and they're going to get educated and things like that. You have to provide a journey for them when they get there. They have to click on something to opt into this journey, right? Like, or at least the first, what it's called like above the fold, right? The first thing that they see before they even start scrolling should be what you do, right? And then it's like a hook, right? And then and so anyways, talking about lead magnets, we have two separate lead magnets, one for geared towards passive investors, one geared towards active investors. And then we have two different journeys for that person on the back end, right? And my whole thing is to educate our customers as well, but we're guiding them through the education process. And it all starts with gathering their email, and then they're on a drip. And it's not like an everyday. I found like everyday drips. Like a lot of people say, like email them every day for like a week, and then it kind of tailors off, fades off. But like maybe, every 3 days or every week or something like that, but constantly providing them education. And then, once they come off that drip, then they're on your newsletter or whatever that you're providing education. And you need to start training them to go to places where your education is. So in our drip, we have, hey, check out these resources. Here's where you can find them. Like, this is an awesome resource. This is why you're going to love it. You're going to get 33% more investors to invest in your deal if you do this one thing. Click here. And then you're going to click, right? So like guiding them through that process and really dangling that carrot in front of them is necessary as well. You can't just assume people are going to go to your website and you're going to click around and they're going to get educated. It's huge.
Interesting.
So Michael, where did you, is this all knowledge that you got from a place like one of your mentoring partnerships, or is this all stuff that you've gathered from the books that you've read? So where is this knowledge coming from?
Like the 6 capital raising books that we've read, this Building a Story Brand. We've had that kind of thing in place, but then Building a Story Brand really shaped that and made it simplified and streamlined process for us. And we're like, holy crap, we're missing on all these other things. But then, seeing how other syndicators are doing it as well has been critical.
So reading that book had a big impact on how you built your website, or had you already had the website, you read the book and redid the website?
Exactly. We redid the website. We simplified it, streamlined it.
and you feel like the book really gave you a lot of actionable items that led to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still working on it. Like there's still some things that we want to fix, but yeah.
So how long have you had your website up, Michael?
Coming up on a year now. So I think it was July of last year.
Okay.
So I guess
And
9 months.
Would you be willing to share kind of some numbers? I mean, feel free to say no if you're not comfortable doing it, but I'd be interested in knowing kind of what kind of flow you're getting from your website, and then maybe some of the other people can compare that to the flow they're getting, and we can kind of gauge the success or non-success of a particular strategy, or what one of you might be doing and one of you might not be doing.
Yeah, so pull up the analytics real quick. So
screen sharing is on if you want to use screen sharing.
It might,
yeah.
Love to get some, what are you using for analytics as well?
So I use Squarespace just because it has everything built in. It has Google Analytics built in and everything like that. Super straightforward. So we've had this month so far 405 unique visitors. And a lot of those have come, and people who've opted into our checklist. Okay, so I'll preface this with Susie and I were just on Michael Blanc's podcast, and we gave them, and that's another thing too, when you go on a podcast or a speaking engagement, you only want to give them one thing. You don't be like, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Facebook, find me on this. Give them one thing. You say, I want you to go here. This is going to save your life or whatever. It's going to change your life, is whatever your perspective on whatever. This one thing, find it here. And that's it. Like if they want to find you, they'll find you, but that's like the carrot you give them. They go to that, they download it, and then they start digging into it. So anyways, like I was saying, we were just on Michael Blanc's podcast. So a lot of this traffic or a lot of these downloads came from that, but we had like 25 downloads of our lead magnet in the past like 72 hours. So now we have like 25 leads just from that, which is awesome. We're really excited about that. Now we just got to figure out how to turn those from cold to hot leads or warm leads. But yeah, and our drip campaign is hopefully gonna aid us, help us with that. So.
So does anyone want to share their website and kind of show a couple of the pieces in how you're trying to drive traffic?
I can.
Whomever wants to, you guys go for it.
Here's our website. Let's see if I can move this stuff out of the way here. So this is what we're working on too. We're changing this right now because what we wanted to say, because our thing is we're going to help people check off bucket list items now, not after they retire. And then we're targeting people who, who love to travel, who love to go on adventures, who love to do anything like that has to do with checking off your bucket list item. That's another thing too, is like Donna Miller also opened her eyes, and some other branding people have opened our eyes to everybody in the real estate is like really heavily focused. I think Adam Adams is like the driver behind this, but really heavily focused on niching down into like, I need a 32-year-old white male who goes to Starbucks 3 days a week and works out at the gym on Saturdays and then goes for a walk in the park on Sunday. That's like your person you're going after. It's like, okay, that's niching down way too small. And it's like, you're missing out on all those other people. So instead of like cast a wider net, but also be very specific in what net you're trying to cast. Right. So you don't need to niche down that far. But anyways, this is the beginning here. First thing here is like, hey, are you ready? And I think we're going to move this from where it is here because we want it above the fold. So above the fold is everything you see when you first show up to the website. But our question is, are you ready to start checking off your bucket list items now, not after retirement? And then we're here to help. And then we have our lead magnet there immediately, right? So, hey, you can earn passive income while checking off your bucket list at the same time. Cool. Download our guide. It's immediate, right? And then going down, here's a guide. Step one, here's the process. Oh, it's streamlined. Cool. Register, connect, invest, and then relax. And the branding is consistent, right? So it's all about traveling and things like that. And then here's another call to action.
Question? So back up one screen. So it says download your guide here. When you hit that, Is that the 4 steps? Is that the guide?
This takes you to this to then, to capture the email and everything like that. So we found, or what we've read and things that we've studied is like, if you have an email opt-in here, if it's just like, hey, put in your email and name and email here, a lot of people are like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then they scroll past, right? But if it's just like, oh, I can just click here and get the guide. Okay, I've clicked. Now it's taking me to this. Oh, well, I'm already here. Might as well just put in my name, right? Like I really don't want to give away my email, but I'm already here. I click through it, right? Does that make sense? So if the name and your name and email is on the first page here, they're gonna most likely gonna scroll past. So that's why the little carrot there, they're like, oh, I can just download it here.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the download the guide here doesn't immediately ask for the name and email. It gives you something first, and then the second button past that asks for the name and email.
Yeah. So so when you click, here's the guide. You click here, and then it takes you to the next page.
Now, did you run that before as well, like with having a pop-up?
So a pop-up would be nice, yeah. And that's, yeah.
I'm just saying, because the point you made was if the information's there, they're going to scroll through. Is that does that apply to pop-up as well? And did you do any? Because right now I have it set up as a pop-up, but I do have a separate screen like you do for mine as well, because I was going to use that for getting people from downloading it from like LinkedIn or Facebook, etc. So I do have a separate page for landing page as well as a pop-up, because I have but if you click on it, then it comes as a pop-up, but I can just as easily switch it to the landing page. So I'm just wondering, have you looked at the analytics on that?
So I think the pop-up will be fine too. The thing is, like, you want them to click, and once they've initially clicked, they've already gone that far, 50% of the way, right? And all the rest that they have to do is put in their email. But if you just have it where they put in their email, like, I don't want to put in my email, right? And they keep scrolling.
Okay.
So I think a pop-up or taking them to a different page is completely fine. I would have put a pop-up in there, but I was having issues with it, and I just gave up and just did a landing page. But yeah, and then a key thing here is after they put in their name and email, you don't take them to the next page where you download it for free. You send a link to the download in their email. This is a key thing. So like when it does two things, right? The first purpose, it gets them opening your email and making sure that your email is not in their junk mail and it's not in their promotions.
And are you just putting them on Google Drive and that's how they're popping up, or are you using a different?
You could do that. They're hosted through Squarespace. Like I could deposit on the Squarespace's server.
Okay.
Yeah. But then,
if that impacts the speed of your site, because that's kind of why I was thinking Google Drive is just to not have any issues with my site loading up any quicker. Do you know offhand, like, does that have an impact on it or not?
I'm not sure. So when they go to the email and then they get this link where it's adventuresaria.com/guide download, that's where it brings them here from the email, takes them here, and then they click on this, and then it's just on the server. So there. So yeah, and then they got the guide there.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
We've got a black screen.
We got black screen.
Yeah.
I can see it. I see your stuff, Michael.
Mine's just frozen. I think he's doing stuff that's just frozen on that screen.
Me.
Hey, Michael, which version of Squarespace do you have? I mean, I'm using Squarespace also, but I think you have more flexibility than maybe the plan that I'm on. I
have it's like $180 a year or something like that. I don't know. It's like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something.
I'm not sure what plan it is, but
okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like my little 2 cents on a lead magnet. I don't know.
Said that sending the lead magnet to the email did two things. One, you're whitelisting your email, making sure that you're not in their junk. What was the other thing that it does?
Yeah, great question. So the second one is just getting them to read your emails.
Right.
So just like, and you don't put it like, hey, here's a link. Like you give a little, whatever you want to say. Like, we say like, here's the key points about it. We also put like a little video, not for this one, but the other lead magnet. We have a little video that we made. So they watch the video and then if they want, and then there's like, okay. And then down in the email, it's like, here's the link. So it gets them not just opening, looking for the link. It's like down in the email. So they have to actually read through it.
Form the habit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was the mistakes we were making at the beginning. It was just like when they put in their email, it clicked right to this, and then they can download it immediately. So, yeah. But yeah.
I would just chime in and say that I really enjoy our normal format for having some open discussion about topics, but I also really enjoy seeing the customer journey on someone's website. I liken it to our underwriting workshops where we go through the process, and I learn a lot just from watching what other people are doing. So thanks for sharing, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to be more than happy to dig around through other parts of my website too. But we're still, obviously, it's always a work in progress. So we haven't raised $5 million in 24 hours yet. So we're still working on that.
So Michael, did you guys start to do soft commits, and is that tied into the website in any way before the last, before you actually had the deal? Because the website was up for some time before you actually found the first deal.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's tough. But we just switched to Syndication Pro from Groundbreaker because Groundbreaker is worthless. And I'll say that in front of you guys. I don't want to spread this around on like social media or anything like that. But we had a really difficult time with the Hello Sign and Groundbreaker and their customer support, which wasn't there. So, anyways, we switched to Syndication Pro, and Syndication Pro has allowed us to streamline our process a lot more so far. And we are just still in the onboarding process of Syndication Pro. However, I've already put like that link in here at the top, investor portal login. And people have gone in there and just signed up through investor portal. And then in there, it actually asks them when they sign up, like how much money you're ready to invest, which has been nice. So.
And just a real quick point on that, guys, if you're going to use Syndication Pro, Jared, I think got us a 30% discount. So make sure you're using that link and contacting that person so that you get that discount. If you get a bigger discount by leveraging GOB, then make sure that you let everyone else know that you've leveraged that name to get a bigger discount. But I'll also tell you that you guys know my long-term goal is for us to have someone like Syndication Pro partner with us and offer those services basically free of charge for the network, for the people that are members of the network. We've got to obviously provide benefit to them to do that. To me, the benefit is, look, do you want cash or do you want to barter? I would rather barter. I'd rather give you a little piece of a deal, and let you start to see value that way, which you could charge me $100 a month and get $1,200 a year, or would you rather have the possibility to get 40 grand, but it's in 4 years when we sell, so and to that point, we had some of the people I've been pursuing. That was one of the reasons I invited Badri to be part of the platform, was hoping that he would he's already done a lot of hard work, and hoping that he would either bring some of that hard work to the platform or see the value in the platform and maybe offer, some really large discounts to the platform. But it's still a work in progress. And I say that because we had another gentleman that joined yesterday. And of course, I'm going to forget his name.
Perry.
Huh?
It was Perry.
Yeah, Perry Zhang, that Perry and I have known each other for a few years. And about a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, he started working on his own investor portal when there weren't too many options out there. And so he has one. And he called me last night very excited about joining the platform and wanting to be an affiliate, within the platform. So I'll just tell you guys, I would leverage every bit of that I could to try to get as much as you can. Now obviously Perry's an investor. He did this because at the time, 2 years ago, there weren't a lot of options, and he wanted a much cheaper option for his own syndications. So I think there might be opportunity there if you guys want to pursue that, or just, I would say, engage with him. If you haven't already made a choice, if you're not already using something, to definitely start to engage with him. Maybe we get a big discount. Maybe he offers it to the platform for free. Maybe he just adds a ton of features that we want that we can't seem to find anywhere else. So Hamad, did you or Jim want to share your screen and get any feedback on what you're doing?
So I'm actually, I have to go pick up my son, so I can still talk about it if someone else wants to pull it up because it's accessible. But
Sure.
Jim, feel free to share yours, and if you want to.
Sure. Okay.
Not necessary, but if you want some.
No, without a
feedback
doubt.
on it.
All right.
So Michael, before Jim gets too deep, one follow-up question on the soft commits. Knowing where you are today, is there anything you would have done differently a year ago or leading up to that first deal? And specifically as it relates to the capital raise.
I'm still playing around with different ideas of how to get like soft commits. I think, having a more straightforward form on our website. I know a lot of people do Google Forms and things like that, but with the power of Active Campaign, you can segment and tag them as they come in, and you can tag them if they click something in your email, which is a powerful thing. Like if they're like, oh, if you're interested in learning more about the property here, so they've clicked through that. They've not only have they opened the email, but they've clicked through that, and now you can tag them like, hey, they're interested enough to click on this. So like, I think for our next property, we're gonna do something like that and segment them. I'm still trying to figure that out, and then that's actually my plan this weekend to figure out what drip I'm gonna put the interested investors on, but also it's gonna lead them to a form where they fill out, hey, how much are you ready to invest right now? One thing we just did was a survey. So we have a list of investors that are potentially going to invest in our next deal, just from talking to them. However, there's a bunch of investors because we have, several hundred on there that, we can't talk to regularly. We just wanted to get a feel. We sent out a survey through this application called Cervicate, and Cervicate it's an integration back to Active Campaign, or then allows whatever answers they have, it tags them a certain way, or it adds that information back to their profile on Active Campaign. So that was very powerful because we asked a bunch of other questions like what assets are you interested in, things like that. Yeah.
I apologize, I cut out there because I was Wi-Fi to cell service. Which platform are you talking about that does that?
So we use Cervicate, and it was an integration into Active Campaign. You can integrate those two, and then you can send out a survey, and it doesn't even look like it looks like it's an anonymous survey on the user's end, but like because they click through the email to get there, it registers who it is, and it's like that back on your Active Campaign platform. So it looks like
sorry, can you type the name down in the chat?
Yeah.
I'd love to take a look at it. Sounds very interesting.
Okay, Jim, take her over.
Okay, guys, you see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess Bob and I are basically trying to attract the passive investor from our approach. So, we describe ourselves, and we have a dream it, build it, grow it philosophy, where if you ever thought about passive income, what that can do for your family, stop dreaming about it and ask us how to make it happen. Let's get started to build a real estate portfolio that will grow passively and let you live life on your own terms, and growing it as far as there are more options than just multifamily. There's senior living, mobile park homes, self-storage, and more. You can ask us for more information. Then, of course, I reference that we are affiliate of the GOB network, and this will take us, to the site so they can see what the GOB is about.
And also, Bob, real quick, Jim.
Yeah.
There is on the logos. There's a logo folder on the platform if anyone wants to use logos, and there is one that's clear. In other words, it'll only be the outline and the GOB name. So instead of a white background,
Okay.
it would be whatever background you already have. So in this instance, it would be blue.
Okay.
And if you guys want, I use remove.dg. It's a remove background. Just you put in your picture there, and it automatically removes the background. I use that quite a bit.
What is it called, Hamad?
Remove.dg.
DG? D as in David, G as in...
No, B as in bat. So I think it's background. So BG.
Oh, B as in boy. Okay, cool.
B as in boy.
Yeah, I have another thing to add here. If you don't use that remove thing on the website, if you just use the 3D paint, and in the 3D paint, there is an option too for the magic select. So if you click on that, it's gonna automatically take this GOB network, and it's gonna make the background kind of invisible. And you can save it as a sticker, and every time on any picture, you can use it without any further, any additional things.
What was that called, Binky? Could you drop it in the chat?
It's the 3D paint.
3D paint.
And everybody has it by default, whether you are on Windows or Mac.
Thank you, guys. A little bit about us, what Fresh Point Properties does, and how we were founded, and a Meet Our Team page. Then you can get deeper into our stories here. This is our team. This is our professional team, our legal team. And it's a little quote by Steve Jobs about teamwork. This takes us to our individual stories. Let's go back to the home page. And as I continue to scroll, just give some of the asset types that we feature and some of the work that we can provide. I have our mission statement here, and I do a monthly market analysis. So, for example, this month I'm featuring Sarasota, Florida, a little blurb about it, and then I give some of the details about. This is just informational. So I do a different MSA, a different area every month. Target areas that we focus on. And as I scroll down, I do also put in some commercial real estate news. I get a couple of articles that I find each week. I find them through wealthmanagement.com. So I put some information on here if anybody's interested in reading that. Okay, and different topics each week. I try to update that. And as I continue to scroll down the homepage, I have some recommended reads, and each one links to the Amazon site. Sorry for the phone in the background, guys. So these are books that I've read and are currently reading, and they were very influential on me. So these are my recommended reads. I quote some of our partners here, and I give some legals and disclosures down on the bottom. I go into why multifamily, and I give a bunch of scenarios as to why it's positive to invest in multifamily. Investing provides higher returns than other real estate asset classes. So I have different statistics as to the benefits of passive investing in real estate.
So Jim, is this just scrolling down they find this, or do they click through to get to this page?
There's each one has a heading.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to keep it. I tried to keep the headings, just a few. I had a lot more. Then I got some feedback that says that people were telling me to condense them, which is what I did. So I didn't want to have too much
So,
headings on top.
so let's discuss for a moment how you're collecting. I seen up there, join our investment club. So that was one of the ways to capture the name and email address, correct?
Yeah, if you have that on a couple of different pages.
Okay.
And then I have here, if Freshman Power is always looking to grow our team, are interested in partnering on future opportunities, blah, 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 hit submit. So name, address, phone, type of investor you are, desired investment amount. If you'd like to call to discuss the call, submit. And I get the, I get the notifications via my email. So I have that on a couple of pages.
And does it say join our investment team? Is that action button?
Yes.
The same action button on each of the different pages?
Yes, it takes you here.
Okay. So a suggestion that I would have right off the bat is on the very first page, that when the people land on your website.
Have it there.
Go down just a little bit. That dream it, build it, grow it.
Put one
I would make those actionable buttons where you could give them something about, okay, here's what whether it's an article or what does he mean by dream it? That piques my interest. But figure out a way, maybe right away, they have to fill out the form to figure out what dream it means, or what build it means, or what grow it means.
That's a good idea. Okay. Action buttons.
Yeah. Jim, also some suggestions here. So when they first get to your page, like first I have two questions. What is your target audience?
I think passive investors.
Like, but what kind of passive investors?
Just people who want to, just invest in our projects. We're not, wasn't targeting partners, GPs or things like that. Just, people who are looking for ways to, invest their cash.
Gotcha. So I would suggest.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I would suggest niching down even further. Like, Hamad targets a specific group of people, right? And like, Susie and I target people who have this bucket list they want to check off, but they don't have the time to do it right now, or the money to do it right now, because they're waiting to retire. Like that's the audience we're trying to get after, right? So I would say, if you're trying to target like high net worth medical professional.
Okay, so now narrow down who I'm trying to attract.
Yeah, and then find the pain point within that group of people, right? So the pain point for us is that people wait to retire, to enjoy their life, and we're trying to show them that, hey, this, there's a different way, right? So that's the pain point. We explain that, and that's the first thing they see when they get to our website, right? And like before, like when they click on it, the first thing that they see before scrolling at all is like address that pain point, and then like how you help them with that, right? Or how you don't have to address the pain point, but how you help them with that pain point. So then you've captured that audience, and then they want to scroll after that, right?
Okay, I have some ideas about that as you're saying it.
So when you guys talk about above the fold, literally that means just what you can see on the screen as soon as you click on your website.
Yeah, it's a term from like the newspaper or whatever. So whatever would be above the fold on the newspaper, like the heading or whatever,
So you want some actionable step. You want to tell some major story in that very first above the fold.
So this is where you come on here. So you want to see, you're saying I should have something here that pinpoints a specific target.
And I think
so like ours is we help people check off their bucket list now, not after retirement, right? Like something like that, like,
So Jim, two things. One, I have the I think it's in the Calpo Raising folder. I have the workbook for creating your avatar. I would highly recommend do that. That way you know who your like ideal customer is. I know For me, for example, it's corporate execs and doctors. Corporate execs because that's my background, and doctors because that's my wife's background. So I have good understanding, exposure to those two lifestyles. And the importance of that is you have to understand what their pain points are. They're accredited and stuff, but why don't they invest in real estate right now? Because they don't have time. They don't have the time to go learn and to spend on that. So that's the main pain points. And then what's the problem that you're solving, and focus on that. And then on your website, whenever you're doing messaging, don't focus on what you do, focus on how you solve their problem. So even what Michael's saying, he's helping solve the problem of people focusing on living their life now before retirement rather than waiting for retirement. But I would highly recommend doing that avatar exercise. It will make your messaging and everything a lot easier.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And in that book, Building a Story Brand too, they talk about that, like Ahmad's saying is, don't make the website about you. You can later on, right? But the first page should be all about how you're helping your customer, right? Because yeah, it's like, and then it's just like,
Taking notes.
like a lot of people who have like, I'm not sure what other people's websites look like, but when you land on their website, like for syndicators, you see like a backdrop of like some skyline, right? Oh, cool. You're selling them a building. Is that what you're really selling them? No, you're selling them an opportunity to make money, right? Or solving their problems, right? That you're trying to sell them on your ability to solve their problems, right? But you're not selling them on yourself or your business. You're selling them on how you can guide them, right? You don't want to be the hero. They are the hero. You are the guide. So you're guiding them through this process. Nobody wants another hero. Everybody wants to be their own hero of their story. You are the guide, guiding them to become that hero. That makes sense?
I think so, yeah.
I would also highly recommend for everybody to, I would recommend that you sign up to be on everyone's drip campaign. And that you look at every single website for every member of the GOB and for any syndicator, whether they're on GOB or not. Sign up, look at their website and sign up for all of their giveaways. And spend a few minutes on their website seeing who they're selling to, and how they're doing it. And if you're not a creative person, I think that will help spark some creativity for you.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jim. So what Susie and I have done, we sign up for as many people as we can, and then we put them into like we have them like auto going into a certain folder on our Gmail, right? So like all that's collecting, and then we can go back through and look at all those and like, okay, what's working? These are syndicators that we want to be like, the top 25 syndicators that you want to be like, you're aspiring to be like, those are the people you should sign up for the drip campaign and see what's working for them. And that's where we got a lot of our initial ideas from. And now we're just fine tuning everything, right?
Would you consider, say, at the end of my why invest in real estate, I'm trying to target or just to attract or pique people who have 401ks or old 401ks, retirement accounts that are just sitting there. And I quote this, it's about a minute article from John C. Bogle, telling them why their money's sitting in where it is doing nothing, where it could be creating much greater returns investing passively in real estate. I mean, that could be a target market, I guess, right?
Are you saying setting in CDs or setting in old IRA 401ks?
Yeah, sitting in CDs or just old 401ks or retirement accounts that we've been on these calls that people are not aware that they can invest. They're self-directed.
So by definition, then you're saying people that are at least 59 and a half because they have to be that old to access the money?
Oh, well, not necessarily. I mean, if they have it in, they can still invest it tax-free or tax-deferred into these real estate vehicles. They're not going to be taking withdrawals, but they're just other options
Well, the vast
for them.
majority of people cannot do that though, Jim. If you look at the statistics on 401ks and IRAs, the percentage of money, let's say for the sake of argument, I don't know what the real numbers are, but the gist of what I'm about to say will be true, which is if there's $30 billion tied up in IRAs and 401ks, only about 10% of that is in self-directed. So the vast majority of that money is locked up and can't be used, can't be redirected into other investments. And most people don't have the ability to unlock it unless they're 59 and a half.
And they can
Now,
start.
so you could target, at which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're niching, if you niche down to say, look, I want to really target all that money. It's a huge amount of money, but I want to only target the people that have access to it. And so what does that look like? How do I target to them? Or target to someone who is switching jobs and at that moment has the ability to unlock that money.
Yeah.
You know, but I think, you know, that could be a potential market and a huge amount of money for sure. And people that actually have access to that money, I think that's a great, for me, I think it would be a great target audience.
Okay.
And we've got 8 minutes, gentlemen.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much, just real quick, I have a GOB page, obviously. I have that in there telling how we are part of the GOB network and how to, you know, join us and take a look and a little bit about about us. So just that fact that we are part of the GOB network. I do a terminology page, just people are interested in some of the terminologies, if they should look at and be involved in some of our projects. Here's some of the terminology that you will come across. And lastly is our contact page.
So Jim, do you, on that terminology page,
yeah,
you could have call to actions on each one of those. You know, you could write an article on what is IRR. And if you want to learn what IRR is, you know, click here. That could be a call to action button. You know, so make some of it, make them, you know, it's free. You're giving it away. You're not charging for it. But the cost is, I'd like to know who you are.
Right.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Jim, I missed the first part of that, but I was just going to mention, if you have these terms anywhere else in your page, like do backlinks to them.
Right.
That's
okay.
huge. Yeah. Or pay somebody to do it. You don't have to do it. So.
And then lastly, the just our contact page and our schedule, our calendar link. And if you have any questions or want to get a message, you send it and it goes right to my email as well too.
So
that's pretty much it.
Jim, one more comment. So
Sure.
click on join our investment team at the top right. So when you click on that, scroll down a little bit. So the last question you ask, would you like to schedule a call? And you're like, don't ask them. You know, when they hit submit, take them to your Calendly landing page.
Right, that's
and
a good
then,
point. Yeah,
and
I
then
just put that on
force them to sign up. Don't ask them if they want to. But like,
yes,
this is your next step.
Yeah, that's calendar page I just put in there the other day, so that's a good follow up to that. Thank you. Submit to calendar.
Well, so you can submit, so you capture all the information, but then the
Right
next
there.
page is then your Calendly.
Right there.
Like,
Perfect.
Sign up for a call. And on mine, I actually have the Calendly. You can integrate it into Squarespace, so it doesn't take you out of your website. You're still in your website. It's integrated. You can pick a time and everything there in the web page.
Yeah, I think I got to figure out how to do that. I think this takes me out of.
So you can take the source code from Calendly. Yeah, because it takes you out of your website.
Yeah, it did.
You want to keep them in your website as long as possible.
Right. The source code, right? I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Cool, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah,
What
Michael.
kind with that, Michael? Because I mean, one of the things I've also heard is don't try pushing people to set up an appointment with you right away, because that can throw them off and turn them away. So what kind of conversion have you been getting with people setting appointments when they're downloading your material?
Yeah. So that, yeah, that's a good point, Ahmad. So you have to be very careful with that as well. But if they're already signing up to invest with you, if they're already signing up and saying, "Hey, I'm an interested investor," then you drive them to sign up
Yeah.
to schedule a call. That's the only time I ask them to schedule a call.
Okay,
But
but you're
in
not
my
doing it for the lead magnet, though, correct?
yeah, for lead magnet, no, it's just like, hey, here's more, but then they're with on a drip, and then we provide them valuable information like emails 1 through 5, and then email 6 or 7 is like a call to action to actually schedule a call. Like, okay, now you've earned their trust. Now they start to like you because they like the information you're providing, and now once you actually ask them to do something, then they'll most likely do it at that point. But yeah, that's a good point. You don't have to have a call to action at every single step along the way.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's I was thinking it was with the lead magnet, so I was kind of asking. But yeah, no, that's fine. That aligns with what I'm thinking as well.
You can have other calls to action on your lead magnet, like, hey, listen to my podcast, or here's some more information, check this out, or more education, like lead them to more resources. But like scheduling a call, also another thing too is like we had our Calendly up on our contact page for our website. And a lot of people are like, well, then it's just showing that you're available to talk whenever. Like you want to share some scarcity, right? Like you want to share with them, like, hey, your time is valuable. You don't just give it away to anybody who's on your website to sign up for a call, right? So only when they sign up through the investment link or an investment form, then do they have the opportunity to schedule a call with you. If that makes sense.
So Michael, I'm assuming that there's a cancel button for that call to action with the call. So when you ask for the submit and it takes you to the scheduling page, how do they get out of the scheduling page if they don't want to schedule?
So we've already captured their information. If they don't schedule an email, or if they don't schedule a call with us,
yeah,
then it puts them on a drip where it reminds them over and over,
yeah.
hey,
So
if you want
right.
to see our investment opportunities, you have
Right.
to schedule a call, schedule a call, schedule a call, schedule a call until they either unsubscribe or they schedule a call, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't care if they're going to sign up for their investment list. And what we've been doing now, we don't have that high of people, like it's not unmanageable where we have so many people who are signing up through our investor list that we can't personally reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you sign up for investor list. We can reach out with a personal email. It takes like 5 minutes right now. But like once we have like dozens at a time, then it's going to be a little more challenging. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking a different question though. I'm on your site. I signed up. Okay, I know you, I like you, but I'm not ready to schedule a call. I want to see the rest of the stuff on your website. How do I get out of this Calendly link?
They can just hit back or whatever, or they can go to another part of our website. It's
So
still, it's integrated in the website.
It doesn't lock them in. You can X out of it, or there's a cancel, or it's pretty easy to get out of it and back into the website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Calendly is built into the website, so they can click any other part of the website and leave that page if they want. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you made your own page. You made your own page for that in the on the website.
Yeah, I could show you real quick if you guys are interested.
Yeah, this will be the last share. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. There we go. Okay, can you see? So yeah, final step after they signed up for the call, or excuse me, after they filled out our investor form, and it says final step, schedule call. If you haven't connected with us, let's find a time that works for both of us. Blah blah blah. Then you have access to our Calendly, right? And if they want, they can just click out and they can go back home or wherever else. That made sense.
So they just go back up to the top of the page, and then you have all your headers they can go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if they're like, oh, we've already scheduled a call, we've already talked to them, then that's totally fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Jim, question for you. You mentioned there's a link that you have in order to get Investor Pro.
Syndication Pro.
Syndication Pro.
It's on the Slack channel. Jared Ash posted it. So.
If you tell Osbert from Syndication Pro, which is their main salesperson, that you're a member of GOB. You don't have to have like a code or anything like that. He just gives it to you, but you have to buy the enterprise version. So it's a little bit more expensive for the enterprise, but then you get 30% off for a year.
Yeah. What's his
and
name?
you- Osbert, OSBERT, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, the enterprise version, what's cool about Syndication Pro, especially with all these people working together, with all of us at GOB working together, you can have unlimited number of code GPs on that. And so, yeah, so Susie and I are lead sponsors, and then we can have unlimited number of code GPs on that deal. And then everybody has like their own investors and their own branding on their, and it doesn't cost the co-sponsor anything, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just the charges to the lead sponsors.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I think Hankey's left, so it's just gentlemen. I appreciate all the feedback. And you guys make sure if you have any follow-up questions for anybody that's on the call, jump on Slack and ask them.
Feel free to reach out with me any questions you have. Also, Pat Gage's
Tonight,
meetup is tonight when Susie and I are talking. If you're interested, so
6 o'clock.
absolutely, I encourage everyone to be there
Michael,
tonight.
talking about.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. I
guys.
appreciate the
Take
help.
care.
Okay, guys.
Here, buddy.